Okay, so this is the Overcomer calendar. Okay, I made it today. I created this calendar today by the leading of the Lord, I believe, and it's based upon the full moon as being the new moon. Yet this calendar is slightly different to the creatorscalendar.com, who have the full moon as the new moon too, because I have the new moon day initiating the week. Therefore, the seventh day Sabbaths are on the 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th day of the month. The blue numbers at the top are obviously the 6 working days, and the 7th is the 7th day Sabbath. Now, this means that any day of the week could be the 7th day Sabbath, and you'll see that as we go through the calendar. Also in this video, I'm going to show you that the true Pentecost count, I believe, is on the 3rd day of the 5th month. And I'm going to show you through using this calendar and Leviticus 23, the true count that takes us to the 3rd day of the 5th month. So looking at this calendar, you'll see some boxes. The yellow highlighted areas are for when there is a feast of the Lord. The orange boxes are used to represent when it's a feast, but also a Sabbath day of that feast. So in this particular month, we have a Sabbath day being on the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is the 15th day. Now we also have the 7th day Sabbath happening at the same time as the 7th day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So that is a Sabbath day rest on the week, but also for the feast. Now that's quite important, and we're going to go into that in a minute, why that 7th day Sabbath is special, because it's like a double Sabbath, okay? But we'll go back to that in a bit. So I'm just going to give you now the opportunity to take some screenshots from the calendar, because I've done 7 months. I don't believe I need to do any more than 7 months, okay? So this is month 1. Month 2. Month 3. Month 4. Month 5. Month 6. And month 7. So as you can see, you have the Feast of Trumpets on the first day of the 7th month, and that is the 6th of October. That is a Sabbath day because it is a feast day. And the 10th day of the 7th month is the Day of Atonement. That is also a Sabbath rest. And the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles and the 8th day of the Feast of Tabernacles is also a Sabbath rest, as well as the 7th day of the Feast of Tabernacles, being that it is a 7th day Sabbath anyway. So I'm going to go back to the first month. So this is where we're going to do the count from. If you look in Leviticus 23, it talks about the feasts of the Lord. It goes through the feasts, and it talks about, first of all, the Sabbath, then the Passover, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of First Fruits, and then the Feast of Weeks. Now, what's interesting is that when it talks about the Feast of First Fruits, it says that the priest is to wave the offering on the day after the Sabbath. Now, when you look at that calendar, we have 2 Sabbaths in reference to a feast day. Therefore, we know that the last Sabbath that was mentioned was the 7th day Sabbath of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because it says in verse 8, "You shall present a food offering to the Lord for 7 days. On the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work." Therefore, when it goes on to the Feast of First Fruits and it says that the priest is to make that offering and wave the offering on the day after the Sabbath, I believe it's talking about the 22nd day. So this is where we're going to do the count, because it says in verse 15, "You shall count 7 full weeks from the day after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering." So that's really it, kind of clarifying that the day after the Sabbath is the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, which is first fruits. So I know it's a bit different because we always tend to think that first fruits is the 17th day, but I'm just, giving you this as an alternative way to do the count, and it's going to show us the true count, I believe. So we're going to count 7 full weeks. So 1 week would take us to the 28th day of the first month. 2 weeks would take us to the 7th, 3 would take us to the 14th, 4 would take us to the 21st, and the 5th week would take us to the 28th. The 6th week would take us to the 7th day, and the 7th week would take us to the 14th day. Now that is a Sabbath day. So therefore it says that we are to count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath. So we're to count from the 7th Sabbath to get to 50 days, because it's saying that we need to find the 50th day that comes after the 7th Sabbath. So if we count from the 14th day, 50 days, this is what we come to. So let's count it together. So starting from 14, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. It says, "You shall count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath." Now, I always felt that it said to the day after that count of 50, but actually it really is to the day from the 7th Sabbath. And that is the true count. And it's the 3rd day of the 5th month. So this is why we have the 3rd day of being where Jesus turns the water into wine. We also know that in the Dead Sea Scrolls that there's been some investigation and found out that the Feast of Pentecost has 3 feasts within it, not biblically, but traditionally. And what they would do is have, on the first count, it would be the new grain. Then the second count would be the new wine, which would be the 3rd day of the 5th month. And then the 3rd count would be new oil on the 22nd day of the 6th month. So we have new wine here on the 3rd day of the 5th month, which is the 10th of August. Now this is, as we know, is probably why when they heard the apostles sounding like they were drunk, that's why they said they're probably drunk on new wine, because it would have been that day when Pentecost had come. It would have been the 3rd day of the 5th month. So I really believe that this calendar is divinely inspired, and it is biblically true. So this is the calendar for us, the overcomer calendar. It's not the Enoch calendar, it's not the Torah calendar, it's not the world's last chance calendar, it's not the Creator's calendar, it's the overcomer calendar. And if you say that quite quickly, it might even initiate yourself to pray in tongues. You never know. It's just a joke, okay? Overcome a calendar, 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 overcome a calendar. Okay, it was just a slight joke, okay? But this is what I believe is the true biblical layout for a calendar. And it's brought me to the 3rd day of the 5th month, according to the count in Leviticus, basing it from the full moon as the new moon. God bless you. Have a great day.